week 3 of 10. I'm very excited to get you guys going on basically lots of sets of 10. I've been talking about this for about the past month or so, getting you guys kind of mentally prepared for this. There's a lot of work going on, with a lot of different exercises. To be quite honest with you, work-wise it is about as bad as it looks, but time-wise, probably not as bad as it looks. Once you get the hang of the setup a little bit, especially get through the first couple workouts, they kind of repeat themselves a little bit, and you guys will know what I'm talking about once you get through this first week. But get through those first couple workouts and get the feel for it, and you'll be able to move through it a little bit more efficiently and everything else. So not as bad as it looks time-wise. It'll go pretty smooth there for you. One thing is, remember the priorities time-wise. As I've told you before, and for those of you that are new, what we're looking at is a lot of different segments. You have the warm-up section, you have the working section, you have the extra credit section sometimes, you have the auxiliary section and the recovery section. So if time-wise you just aren't able to get it all in, you're not going to be able to get it in even after you get used to it, then priorities are the warm-up and the working section first. Recovery section is next. And then we have auxiliary section, and then extra credit is last. And so I know those are kind of priority-wise are written out of order, but again, you're going to know ahead of time typically if you're going to have enough time. So just skip over the sections that you need and get it in. And again, I want to remind you that that's not to say that any of those are less important. They all work together for your overall benefit. But obviously, warming up correctly to get yourself ready for the work that is the bulk of the program, that's where we're going to need to be at minimum. And I understand that that may happen just on occasion or for whatever reason, and that's perfectly fine. Don't worry too much about it. I've told you many times before, even worst case scenario, if one was to just get the warm-ups, the detailed warm-ups, there's a lot of mobility in there, obviously, and the working portion of the program, you're looking pretty good. You've got a pretty detailed, complete program there. All right. Stick to the percentages this week. Once we move into week 4 of 12, then you're going to start to see a little bit more by feel or opportunities to choose weights on your own. This week there are a lot of indicated percentages, so make sure you stick to that, even if they are lighter than you think they need to be, or you feel like you're not getting out of the exercise of the program what you need. Give it this week, and then it'll be written a little bit different to give you a little bit more freedom there to pick the weights that you choose. Keep in mind that we're trying to progress up through weeks. So for example, we have week 1 of 10s this week, which is overall week 3, but week 1 of the 10s. Then we'll have week 2 of 10s, we'll have week 3 of 10s. So you have 2 more weeks on top of this to progress up in weight within those specific exercises. Basically, you're going to be having mostly the same setup for 3 weeks, and then we'll have a slight back off week and transition into 5s, and that's kind of how it's going to work. So follow the percentages, anticipate progressing up in weight as the weeks go. Okay. That being said, on some of the exercises, if you need to lower the weight from the percentage that I have indicated, because maybe you're not moving really well or you haven't figured out that exercise yet, then don't be afraid to back down and weight. What's more important, as we say all the time, far more important that you're moving really well before you have that load on there. So we can always add the weight. We can always progress up and get you stronger. We don't want you getting stronger within the wrong positions, within partial range of motions. We don't want you reinforcing something that we don't want. So, maybe push press is a good example. If you know that you're dipping really far forward, meaning that your shoulders are going in front of your hips, or your hips are shooting behind your shoulders, so you're not staying straight up and down, you're creating that angle there, then take the weight down. Maybe pause in the bottom of your dip to make sure that you're right. I have that mixed with wall balls. I mean, not wall balls. You can do wall balls if you want, but we don't have those in the program right now. But wall dips. So, take that field, take that drill to another level if you need to. Make the changes that you need to, and push press is just one of many examples that I can give you. So, as I said there, lower the weight if you need to. Okay. Straps in this program are very important. You guys that have been with me for any amount of time, you know how I coach and teach. You know that I don't like a whole lot of extras, meaning like knee wraps, wrist wraps, belts, all that stuff. Even straps, I typically try to stay away from those as much as possible within the full lift. So within a snatch from a floor, through my career, I never wore them in a snatch from a floor unless my hands were just extremely, extremely beat up. Now, anything from the hang, multiple reps, yes. All these deadlifts that you're doing, snatch deadlift, clean grip Romanian deadlift, clean deadlift, snatch grip Romanian deadlift, and on and on and on. You have snatches from the hang and that kind of thing. Use straps. If you don't know how to use them, I have instructional videos on my YouTube channel. You can find out how to use them in many other places. There are many places you can get straps. The straps are very important. What they're going to do, especially in this program, is that to specifically save your hands. But more than that, they're going to help. They're going to allow you to focus on what you need to be focused on, as opposed to worrying about your hand slipping or your grip getting tired. You're doing sets of 10, so strap to the bar with your hands and focus on what you need to focus on and get the job done. Okay. Understand the down days. So on day 1, for example, you have sets of 10 in the squat. You're going up to an indicated percentage this week, but the following weeks they're going to be up to you. You're going to choose those weights on your own. Basically going to be going up to a heavy set of 10 on those days. On the second day of the squats, it indicates to do your sets at 90% of the heaviest weight that you used on day 1 of the squats, okay? And that's going to stay the same for these 3 weeks, and the same for once we bring the reps down to 5 as well. So understand those down days we're still doing sets of 10. It still sucks, probably maybe even sucks even more, but you're staying at 90% of the heaviest weight that you use. So for this week, that's going to be your heaviest weight on the squats, I believe, are something like 75%. Can't remember right offhand, but I'm pretty sure it's 75% of your best back squat you're doing for a set of 10. So whatever that weight is, if that weight is 100 pounds, for example, then you're going to do all of your sets on day 2 with 90 pounds, 100 kilos, 90 kilos, whatever that is. And again, once you do day 1 on week 2, then whatever that heaviest weight is, 90% of that. If that's confusing to any of you guys, you're not completely sure you have that down, it is a very important part of the program, because you're doing that on a lot of the different exercises. So shoot us a message or whatever, ask us about it. We'll help you out however we can. Also understand the heavy days. I talked about that heavy lift. The way that I have it written in, especially because I can control it with the percentages on this first week, is that you're doing, I believe it's 65% for your first set of 10, 75% for your heavy set of 10, and then back down a little bit to 70% for your third set of 10. Now, once you get into week 2, and you're going on your own, what I want you to think about is getting in your heaviest set on set number 2. You're typically always going to do 3 sets, so it's going to be all those sets are going to be 90 to 100%, and look at that as for the day or of your goal. So next week, once you feel see how you feel with the sets of 10 this week, then again we'll take the squats for example, and I'll remind you of this on the video next week as well, but whatever that goal weight is for your set of 10 on week 2, keeping in mind that you're going to do more sets of 10 on week 3, and you're going to try to save some room to grow there. Whatever that goal weight is, so say that goal weight is, again, I'll use 100 pounds. say you did 90 pounds for a set of 10, or 95 for a set of 10 on week 1, and you say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just go for 100 this week, and then maybe 105 or 110 on the third week. Well, 100 is your number this week, and you know that. That's your goal weight. That's going to be your second set. So then go ahead and make 90% your first. Okay, so I'm going to write that in, 90% of your goal weight for today. And then get that goal weight in, that goal set. And then get 95% of that weight if you made it. If not, I'll talk next week about what you can do. I'm confident that most of you guys are going to make it through that, no problem. Again, probably getting ahead of myself there just a little bit, but I'm very excited for you guys to get on this and get the benefits of it. But understand those heavy days, typically doing one heaviest set and then backing down 90 to 95% on the other sets, okay? Anytime it's written by Phil and it says anything more than the bar counts as a set, I want you to take that seriously, because a lot of people that I come across, a lot of my athletes, they're like, well, I didn't feel like it was enough work for me today, or I didn't start counting my sets until like 60% or 70% or whatever that was. Well, that is written that way for a reason. It's to help you control your overall reps, your overall workload, and that kind of thing. And specifically in this program, they're exercises that I don't want you getting as many heavier reps in with. Okay, but you're still getting a decent number of total reps in, so don't worry about it. Take it literally. Anything more than the bar counts as a set, and then you can go up to as much as whatever that indicates, the percentage that it indicates not to go over, or whatever you want, if it just says by Phil with no indication. Okay. On the 5-day program, there's no auxiliary on the Saturday, so that is correct. I did mean to leave that out. You guys are doing so much work through the first part of the week and so much auxiliary through the first 4 days of the week. Take that day and leave it out of there, and we'll move forward. Speaking of the auxiliary, be patient with it. There's a lot of simple exercises written in there. It should be simple with quotations, because push-ups, for example, so many people struggle with push-ups. I'll try not to get into this too much, but make sure you're looking at how Dave is doing it on the demo video. And the big thing there is try to keep those elbows into the side. So many people flare those elbows that carries over into your Olympic lifts negatively. So what I'm getting at is that even though they're seemingly simple exercises, make sure you're doing them correctly. And also, if they are truly a simple exercise for you, you have them down and they're very easy, you feel like they're too easy to be doing, or too easy for the work that I have, just be patient. Again, keep it in there. It's part of the overall workload. It's going to be part of the progression. We'll progress you into more reps. We'll progress you into different, more difficult exercises as we go through weeks, of course. Okay, so that's all we have for this week, guys. Once again, I'm very excited for you guys to get going on this, and look forward to talking to you a little bit more next week. Take care.